So imagine with me for a moment that everything that is in your life currently, that you imagined it, that you imagine this reality that you're living right now. And what if you could imagine a different reality? So I want to bring out an analogy. By the way, my name's Susan Caroline. If you're new here, thanks so much for joining me today. And if you're one of my new subscribers, thank you so much. I love you for subscribing. I really appreciate it. And I wanted to bring out, well, let me tell you a little story, okay? So the other day, my daughter, one of my oldest, she turned 29, and me wanting to keep the kid at heart and give her something to do, I went out and I brought, as what part of her birthday gift, I brought this coloring book. It was a different one, but it was an adult coloring book, and I had got some a couple years ago from myself. My husband got them for me, so I thought, I wanted to play and be like a kid. And that was kind of before I started to put two and two together, how being like a kid and getting back into our imagination and enjoying life and having joy and being in the present moment actually is what is creating our reality and changing our world. So I was thinking about this. So here's an analogy, right? So when we're kids, I'm sure all of us have done coloring books, and we are always told to color inside the lines, okay? Like I can remember when I would color and I'd scribble like as a kid, and the teacher comes along and goes, no, Susan, you got to color inside the lines, right? Well, me being a creative kid, I guess I would scribble outside the lines sometimes, but we are told to color inside the lines, okay? So here's like some of these designs, and I think I might actually do some later today. I feel like my inner kid's coming out, but and I understand why they're doing it, because they want to develop hand-eye coordination in children. But at the same time, it's so important that we get into our creative side. So liken this to our beliefs, right? So we are always told in our life from the time that we are little to color in the lines, and this is how it's supposed to be. And we don't even question these beliefs, right? Well, up until now, if you're watching this channel, you're probably questioning some things. If something doesn't work out, then maybe there's something that we need to discover. Like my husband years ago, he told me, if we're told that this is how you make a chocolate cake, and you put everything in in the mixing bowl, you mix it up, you put it in the oven, and it never turns out to be a chocolate cake, right? Well, then you might want to question that you don't have a chocolate cake recipe, you have something completely different. And it's the same way with our beliefs. We've been told all the time to color outside the lines. Well, what if there were no lines, right? This is from somebody else's imagination, and they're suggesting stuff. At the back, it actually says, they're suggesting a color scheme. Well, what if we turn it over and we flip it, and you actually have a whole blank page, okay? And you get to use your imagination to not only color it in, but to also create anything that you want. Now, listen, I really want to encourage you all who are watching this right now to get into a joyful state. We take life so seriously, and yeah, we have these situations that come up, and serious situations come up, things serious like cancer, which I understand because I've gone through that. But having the joy and the playfulness of a kid and getting back to that joyful imagination, that joyful state, that is when we get into full-blown creator mode. We often think, okay, I really want to know about the laws of the universe. I really got to buckle down and learn. And Christ said, when you become like a little kid, it's easy. It's easy. Like if you read some of the stories in the Bible, one time all these kids, they wanted to come and see Jesus and his disciples, and they're like, oh no, he's got more important things to do, let's keep the kids away. And all the mums like, we want our kids to see Jesus. No, he's really important, right? He's got stuff to do. And Jesus was like, no, let them come to me, because of theirs is the kingdom of heaven. In other words, when you become like a kid again, when you start believing in the magic of believing, and you start using your imagination, that's when things are going to come to life. I want you to think back right now. Can you think of a time when you were a kid, and maybe that you had, a favorite toy or something like that, and you actually played imagination. I think I spoke on another video about how today that kids don't even do that so much. They're just looking at their phone, right, scrolling through. And what are we doing? We're scrolling through and we're looking at somebody else's imagination, you know, and we're not many times doing things creative. So I want to throw out a few things for you to start using your imagination, because when you start using your imagination, you get your creative juices flowing, right? And that is how we create this reality. Is anything that you are imagining right now, if you keep imagining it more and more, and you continue to stay in that imaginative mode, that is what's going to start projecting on this movie of your life, okay? And when you start to understand that you are the creator of your reality, and when you start thinking and expressing and imagining these things, guys, it's literally going to happen. It's literally going to happen. So a couple of tips. I wanted to stay to the end because I want to tell a story about how I imagined this job opportunity for me that wasn't even created. It's crazy. So please stay to the end because I want to tell you about that, and it's going to really encourage you. So things to do to create, you know, to have your imagination. Start being like a kid, whether you're using like coloring books or creating something yourself. Like, you know, I think I actually might create my own patterns. That'd be interesting. Maybe I'll think about that. Maybe I'll do that, and then my subscribers, I can download one or do something for you. And just a thought. But so anyway, start maybe doing something like coloring or going for a walk or doing something creative, using something that's going to get your imagination going, maybe reading some fiction, and start to use different words, creative words. Start to think about becoming like a kid. When you start tapping into your kid-like self again, that's when things are going to start happening. Like, I loved the movie Terabithia, and a story of these two kids, and then go into this forest, and magical things would happen in this forest. They'd use their imagination, okay? So by using your imagination, you can literally get into this creative state, and whatever you want to create in your life starts showing up. So when I was a personal trainer, before I even became one, I was studying to take my certification exam with the National Academy of Sports Medicine. And I thought, I wonder where I want to work. And I researched on different gyms I think I'd like to work at. And one of them was an Anytime Fitness. It was a smaller boutique gym. And I thought, I think I would like to go there. Okay, so I didn't have my personal training certification yet, but I was studying to get it. So I found out that there were a few in town, but there was one that hadn't even opened yet. So I went and found out where it was being built out. And when I walked in, I met the manager there. There was like, you know, wires and electrical things hanging down. I mean, they were literally just building it out. And I explained to them, I said, listen, you know, I'm in the middle of going through my personal training certification, and I would really, you know, I want to find out a bit more. And he said, well, we actually have already got our staff. We're going to be opening in a few weeks. We already have all our staff. But he goes, the owners, they lived out of town. They're going to be coming in tomorrow, and I'd like for them to meet you. So I met with the owners, and they said, we actually have all of our staff right now that we need. We don't need any other staff, but we'd like to create a position for you. We really like you, and we're going to create a position for you. So I have this position where I'd be working in the gym a few hours a day, studying to become my the personal trainer, that, you know, one of the personal trainers there, hoping to be, right? But they had already hired their first personal trainer. It was a small gym, so they were just bringing one on. Okay, so that person came in and they were training. Well, the moment I passed my certification, he decided that he was going to go somewhere else. I got all his clients and built my own clients as well. So it was amazing how I had literally imagined working at this gym. There was no job, and it just happened that when I passed my exam, I just stepped right into that position. So when you start using your imagination and allowing these things to happen, you can just call them coincidence, but they don't happen to me if I don't imagine them. It's amazing. So I have so many other stories, and I would like to hear some of your stories. What are some things in your life that you have used your imagination and you've played like a child, and you've seen it show up in your life. And another thing I want to ask you too, what things do you do right now to bring about more creativity and using to bolster your imagination? You know, like we just scroll on our phones all day. What are some other things that you are doing, whether it's walking in nature, going for a walk on the beach, whatever it may be, doing to really tap into your creative side? I'd love to hear it. So drop it in the comments below. So thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope this encourages you to color outside the lines and start using your imagination, because your imagination, it creates your reality. And I want to remind you that the power to transform your life, it's already within you. I'll see you on the next video. Bye.